the fact that he has Todd Gurley at number 6, I already knew this freaking list was going to be screwed up, okay? This list is blasphemy. It's blasphemy. David Johnson at number 25, Todd Gurley at 6, Melvin Gordon at 7. I could see Melvin Gordon at 7, but you have to have better candidates there than Alvin Kamara and Christian McCaffrey. So I was going through NFL.com, going through the news stories and stuff like that, what's interesting in the NFL right now, and what stuff can I talk about, and I come across this article here by probably one of my favorite running backs of all time. Not only that, he is a expert Madden gamer, so I really relate with Maurice Jones-Drew a lot. He was a huge idol of mine as a kid growing up, being that, I always rooted for the small guys, being that I'm small. He plays my favorite position, running back, and he was just a huge influence to me, and I always loved watching Maurice Jones-Drew, MJD. But he came out with an article today saying, ranking, or was it yesterday or 2 days ago actually, ranking all 32 starting running backs heading into 2019. Obviously, Saquon Barkley, number 1, it says there. It's debatable. I honestly don't think Saquon Barkley is number 1 just yet, and I'm a Giants fan. But that's not what has me livid. From one running back expert who actually played in the NFL to another running back expert, I would say I have an expertise in the running back position. It's my favorite position of all time. You guys know that. It's in my channel name. So figure we go through back and forth, a little debate on what I agree with, what I disagree with this article. So let's get right into it. We're going to start from the bottom up and kind of increase the shock value because it won't be as shocking when we go from top to bottom. So we're going to go bottom to the top. So last but not least, we have Ronald Jones, and this is fair. I mean, Ronald Jones has dealt with a lot of injuries. On top of that, when he does play, he really doesn't do anything. And I'm very happy that the Giants didn't pick him up and go with Sam Darnold, number 2 overall, and then get Ronald Jones in the second round, because a lot of people were saying that to do that in the draft. I'm very happy we didn't go with Ronald Jones. Kenyon Drake at 31. I am a little bit more of a Kenyon Drake fan than most people are, but I completely understand this. We now move on to Lamar Miller. This is fair enough. Lamar, I don't know why people are saying Lamar Miller is a A-tier back. He is not. This is the first problem I have. Devontae Freeman at 29. Yes, it's coming into 2019 right now, so we don't really know what we're going to get from Devontae Freeman. He's coming off of injury. He didn't play 14 games last season, so he didn't play about 2 games, and he is one of the highest paid running backs in the NFL. At one point, he was the highest paid running back in the NFL. Not that he deserves it, but he is a very good back, especially in the scheme that they run with the Falcons, that just gashing running scheme that they have. On top of that, he can catch the ball out the backfield, things like that. I definitely think he is better than Tevin Coleman, who won up to him. Tevin Coleman, they were both on the same team last year and a couple years before that, and Devontae Freeman was still the starter, and Tevin Coleman wasn't as good as Devontae Freeman, so I don't agree with that there. David Montgomery at 27. He hasn't played yet, and he's at the bottom, but it's fair enough not to put him at dead last. So that's fair. We move on. Mark Ingram, that's fine, whatever. David Johnson. You guys know I'm one of the biggest David Johnson fans out there, and with good reason. I've been following David Johnson. I'm not gonna lie. I barely knew who he was coming into the draft when he was drafted. But his first year with Arizona, he caught my eye, and I followed him ever since then. David Johnson, before Saquon Barkley came into the league, was my favorite running back in the NFL, was my favorite player in the NFL. That's ahead of Odell Beckham. I love David Johnson, and this is not even my biasness getting in the way. I'm pretty sure you guys would agree with me as well. David Johnson is not the 25th best back in the NFL. You're telling me that with a couple of injuries, that this guy went from, with Ezekiel Elliott and Le'Veon Bell still in the league before Saquon Barkley, this guy was said to be the best running back in the NFL. A lot of people were saying that he was the best. He was the number 1 fantasy draft pick for I think in 2018, 2017, something like that. That was the year he got hurt. I drafted him number 1 overall, by the way, and he got hurt. But still, you're telling me he went in 2 years, this guy went from the best running back in the NFL, arguably, to 25th. That is ridiculous. He should be, even with all the injuries, he still should be, I don't know, around, top 10, at least top 10. And he's top 25. He is the 25th best. You're telling me Marlon Mack, who just came on this year, this guy is better than David Johnson already. That's ridiculous. And I think Marlon Mack should be higher on the list. I think Marlon Mack has been done a disservice putting him at 24th, but he's definitely not better than David Johnson. So moving on, you could already see that this running back list is just all screwed up. Philip Lindsay at 23. Now, depending on who is at the bottom, I could agree with this. I don't have a problem with where Philip Lindsay is ranked right now. I actually am happy that MJD did not overrate him like a lot of people are saying already. There are a couple Broncos fans in particular who are thinking that Philip Lindsay is close to the tier that Saquon Barkley is, and that's not even close to true. I don't mind him being 23rd over 23rd best, but I do have a problem with who's below him. You cannot tell me that David Johnson is not as good as Philip Lindsay. I don't even care if it's going into 2019 and the year they both had in 2018. You just can't say that. LeSean McCoy has been. This is fair because LeSean McCoy has been, Father Time has been catching up to LeSean McCoy for sure, whether he's dealing with injuries, inconsistency, things like that. It could be offensive line problems, but it's no excuse at that point. LeSean McCoy isn't what he used to be. We then move on to Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs a little high on this list, being that he hasn't played a down yet, but honestly, I really don't get why, because it's not like he played too much at Alabama. I guess, he has a lot of potential. A lot of people see a lot of star power in him and things like that. But that's a little too high for me to put Josh Jacobs 21. He barely played in Alabama, and, it's just a little too much for me. Damian Williams at 20. I'm actually a Damian Williams fan. I liked him in Miami, but he did exceptionally well with the Chiefs. I don't even think the Chiefs thought they were going to get what they got in Damian Williams. I guess they thought, he would just be a fill-in back after they cut Kareem Hunt. But, Damian Williams really, really lit it up, especially, in the playoffs and towards the end of the season. He really succeeded expectations, and I'm happy for Damian Williams. I'm okay with where they're ranking him right now. Adrian Peterson at number 19. Now, Adrian Peterson, I'm not going to say he's the same player he was back in his Viking days for sure, but Adrian Peterson is still a phenomenal back. Coming into last season, he was signed to the Redskins, and nobody thought he would do anything. That's why they got Darius Geis, and that's why even now they have Darius Geis, Samaje Perine, and they just drafted a running back as well. Adrian Peterson is still a great back. He's still, in my opinion, probably top 15, top 13, somewhere around there, almost top 10, borderline top 10. Adrian Peterson is. The season he had last year for the Redskins was phenomenal. It was great. At the age he is right now, the fact that he's still a huge threat in the NFL, huge, great speed, great awareness, great vision, and he's at the age he is right now, he definitely should be higher on this list. Coming in at 18, Chris Carson. I'm okay with this. Chris Carson isn't really too much of a great back to me. I just think the Seahawks make him what he is. Honestly, even with the Seahawks' terrible offensive line, they know how to run the ball. Everybody's successful. Every running back is successful with the Seahawks ever since Marshawn Lynch. Any running back that comes in there is like a star, basically. Thomas Rawls, Chris Carson, back when this guy was healthy, the guy out of Notre Dame. Everybody is good over there in Seattle. But once they leave, like Thomas Rawls, when he left, what happened? He's terrible. So anybody else that comes in there at the Seattle run game is good. We then move on to Jordan Howard. Jordan Howard's all right. He's fair enough. He's the Eagles running back now. Fair enough, though. I like the ranking. We then move on to Leonard Fournette. Now, Leonard Fournette, I think, should be lower on this list. What has Leonard Fournette done in the league? Tell me. Seriously, look at the guy's statistics. Look at how he played. He's a big man acting like a small man. He's not playing to what he was like at LSU. You look at this guy, Leonard Fournette in LSU. He was just way bigger than any other player on the field, even defensive players, even defensive linemen. He was just bigger than them. He's demolished them at LSU, and he comes to the Jaguars, and he's just not the same. He's having some injury problems. On top of that, when he does play, He's not very special. He doesn't really jump off the page to you. His rookie year, he had just over 1,000 yards. I think just about 4 yards a carry and a couple of touchdowns here and there. But, you know, he's coming into his third or fourth year. I think his third year, and just inconsistency. He had injury problems last year. He wasn't able to play too much last year. He got hurt during the Giants game in week 2. But when he did come back, I think he averaged just about 3 yards a carry. Not good. Very inconsistent. So I think Leonard Fournette should be lower on this list. I don't know why people are still liking Leonard Fournette. I was very excited about him, you know, especially when he was drafted, I believe, 3rd or 4th overall a couple years back. I think 4th overall, and he's just not a great player. Moving on to Derrick Henry, another huge back. I think this is just fine. Derrick Henry, I'm a Derrick Henry fan. I'm of the belief that he can be an exceptional back in the NFL. He's another guy with just extremely inconsistent issues, just like with Leonard Fournette. He's just a huge back, like Brandon Jacobs. Brandon Jacobs was always a huge back. He was, if you look at him, you're like, oh my God, this guy's a monster, but sometimes he doesn't play like it. Derrick Henry and Leonard Fournette the same way. There are times when, you know, Derrick Henry had that monstrous game. I believe that was against the Jaguars or the Tech. It was a division rival for sure, when he had like 200 yards against that team, and he looked like an absolute monster. But there are some times where he runs for like 15 carries or for like 50 yards. I'm like, what are you doing? You know, Derrick Henry can be an exceptional back in this league. I think 15 is right where you should rank him. James Conner comes in at 14. I think this is okay. Aaron Jones at 13. I guess it's okay. I think he's a little overrated, but that being said, Kerryon Johnson at 12? What? Kerryon Johnson at number 12. He's the 12th best running back in the league. This guy had 670 yards. Yes, he was one of the leading carriers in the NFL, but he does not have the experience yet. He does not have the game tape yet to say that he's the 12th best running back in the NFL right now. 670 yards last year in his rookie year, then got hurt. 12? Come on now. Sony Michel at 11. I could see it. Sony Michel has really changed the way the New England Patriots play football, especially on offense. And Sony Michel, I think, can deserve this ranking here. Dalvin Cook coming in at 10. A lot of young guys, by the way, guys. Alert to you guys. A lot of young guys coming in and getting into the top 10. Dalvin Cook, okay. Dalvin Cook needs to definitely work on. I think it's more so the Vikings' fault than Dalvin Cook's fault. They just had to utilize him more. He's barely used with the Vikings, and they came out and said they're going to use him more. So hopefully they do that, and Dalvin Cook will definitely earn that spot at number 10. Nick Chubb at number 9. Nick Chubb, I'm a huge fan of. So I'm okay with number 9. Surprisingly, yes, I'm okay with number 9. Joe Mixon at number 8. Yes, Joe Mixon at number 8. I am a huge Joe Mixon fan. And on top of that, he's consistently leading the NFL in carries and rushing yards, scrimmage yards. So it says here Mixon racked up nearly 1,500 scrimmage yards and 9 touchdowns in 2019. And he had a quiet season. Nobody really, because the Bengals just sucked last season, but Joe Mixon was one of the lone highlights of that team last year. So yeah, and dealing with the the quarterbacks they had, not only Andy Dalton doing terribly, but he got benched for whoever his name was. So yeah, guys, and then we go into the top 7. The top 7. What the hell is this top 7? MJD, what the hell have you been smoking, man? I mean, this is just disrespectful. Disrespectful. It's bad. It's bad. Coming in at number 7 is Melvin Gordon. Now, yes, I probably wouldn't put him in the top 5 just yet. It will be between him and Le'Veon Bell at top 5 because, or honorable mentions yet, because I don't really know how Le'Veon Bell is going to play. You know, taking a whole year off, being healthy and things like that, and taking a whole year off. I just don't know how he's going to play yet. So it's arguable that I would have Melvin Gordon at 5, but 7, that's too low, man. Too low for Melvin Gordon. I'm a huge Melvin Gordon fan. Number 6. This got me absolutely livid. I was like, hold on. You're telling me there are 5 running backs better than Todd Gurley right now. Right now, he's my number 1. I'm a New York Giants fan, okay? Giants fan. I got the Giants, everything. I got Giants slippers over there, okay? Huge Giants fan. Me, out of all people, should say Saquon Barkley is the number 1 back in the NFL right now. I have Todd Gurley as the number 1 back in the NFL right now. You're telling me that this guy is not even in the top 5? He's not considered as a top 5 running back in the NFL right now? Okay, maybe it's one off from top 5. Maybe I can deal with that. Let's see who's the number 4 back or number 5 back. Bruh. You're telling me, are you telling me Christian McCaffrey is better than Todd Gurley? Are you telling me Christian McCaffrey is better than Melvin Gordon? Are you out of your mind? Are you out of your mind? I don't even care if this is coming into 2019. Are you out of your mind? I'm going to say that very calmly. I'm going to say that very calmly without getting absolutely livid. You're telling me Todd Gurley, who had an MVP-like season, Christian McCaffrey is better than him going into 2019. Better than him. Unbelievable. Let's see who ranks at number 4. Ezekiel Elliott at number 4. So you're telling me there are 3 running backs better than Ezekiel Elliott right now that are not named Todd Gurley. All right, fine. Le'Veon Bell at number 3. All right, fair. Depends on who's below him, I wouldn't have a problem with this because everybody has their own opinions when it comes to that. You could always fluctuate. Usually number 1 and number 2 are interchangeable. You wouldn't really see a difference in that. Or maybe number 3, arguably. Like some people would have Ezekiel Elliott at number 1, then Saquon, then Todd Gurley, or Todd Gurley, or Saquon, or Saquon and Todd Gurley. Whatever it is. Usually 1, 2, and 3 are interchangeable. So, okay. Then move on. God. Oh, my God. Alvin Kamara is the number 2. He is the second best running back going into 2019. Alvin Kamara. Has this guy ever even ran for 1,000 yards? Has he ever ran for 900 yards? You're telling me Alvin Kamara is the number 2 running back going into the NFL? Now, if you tell me Alvin Kamara is the number 2 weapon in the NFL that plays running back, he's the second best at doing that, okay, maybe. But we're talking about running back. We're talking about RB1, starting running backs going into the NFL. You're telling me that Alvin Kamara is the second best running back going into the NFL. Nowhere on this list here, this whole description, does it say Alvin Kamara consistently runs for this many yards, has 1,000-yard seasons, leads the league in touchdowns. No, he's a pass catcher. Same thing with Christian McCaffrey. They're not running backs. They are running backs. I mean, they can run. I mean, they're better than a lot of other scat backs as far as running goes. I'll give that to them. But are they consistent running backs first? Yes, catching the ball out the backfield is a huge plus for a running back. But can you run the ball consistently? Now, Alvin Kamara has had his games where he's consistently gashed teams, gashed defense, even up the gut, like the Giants. That Giants game was unbelievable. He had an unbelievable game. But can he do it on a consistent level, like an Ezekiel Elliott does? I'll give it to Ezekiel Elliott, and I'm a Giants fan. You're telling me he's better than Ezekiel Elliott, Le'Veon Bell, Melvin Gordon, Todd Gurley? Come on, are you serious? Are you serious? I get it. NFL best, 152.8 scrimmage yards per game. That's great. It's great for a weapon. If you want to make this a fantasy, list, okay, that's fine. This is the number 1 running backs going into 2019. We're not even talking fantasy, guys. I just re-looked at the description. We're not even talking fantasy. This isn't fantasy. This is not fantasy. So what are we talking about Christian McCaffrey and Alvin Kamara in the top 5 as the best running backs in the league? Why are we talking about this? Why? Is he top 5? Yeah, he's top 5. Why are we talking about this? Saquon Barkley at number 1. It's arguable. That's fine. I don't mind it. I personally don't agree. I think Todd Gurley is at number 1. But the fact that he has Todd Gurley at number 6, I already knew this freaking list was going to be screwed up. Okay? This list is blasphemy. It's blasphemy. David Johnson at number 25. Todd Gurley at 6. Melvin Gordon at 7. I could see Melvin Gordon at 7, but you have to have better candidates there than Alvin Kamara and Christian McCaffrey. Alvin Kamara has been the talk of the town for whatever reason in the NFL. I get it. He's great, but he's a weapon. He's a scat back. He is not a true running back. He's a weapon at the running back position, okay? To me, he is not... I don't know. I don't want to be disrespectful to Alvin Kamara fans, but yet I don't want you guys to overrate the guy either, okay? So, that being said, guys, let me know what you guys think about this list. Do you guys agree? Are you guys saying, listen, Kid Blue, this list is fair, okay? This list is fair. Todd Gurley really didn't play well in the playoffs. That's why he deserves to be number 6, okay? CJ Anderson played better than him in the playoffs, okay? Or are you with me and saying this is absolute blasphemy? MJD, what the hell are you smoking? Get your facts straight, okay? This is just a running back expert to a running back expert. Little disagreement we have here. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I will see you guys in the next video.